Đấy. Hello, good evening, everyone. It's really happy to see all the very new face and familiar face in the meeting today. Hello, Tony. Hello, Huy. Hello, Tuhian. Okay, Tony, oh, you look very funny with something on your head. Okay, right. Is everyone? Can you hear me well? If you can
Yes.
hear me, can you put number one on the chat board, please? If you can hear me well. Okay, thank you, everyone. That's great. Wow, today I'm very surprised because I see a lot of people on the stage. Okay, right. So because maybe today is the very first time I meet some of the new people like Selena, like Cindy, or like Amelia. Right. So maybe I would love to know more about you. Can you guys put like one hobby that you love in your free time in the chat board, please? One thing you love to do in your free time, Selena, Cindy, or like Tony or Amelia. Right? Can you put one thing you like to do in your free time in the chat board? I will wait for your answer in the chat board. And if you are very new to Nora Kids Gavel Clubs, it is a place for all of you guys to practice public speaking skill and debate skill. And here you can connect with all the people around Vietnam and beyond Vietnam. So here you always just feel comfortable be here because we're all here to learn and to help each other. Okay. So now let's make friends with each other by sharing something you love to do in your free time. Wow. Okay. I received some answer in my chat, my private chat board. Thank you. Let's keep sharing. And now I think it's the time for us to start the meeting today. So hosting the meeting today, we have two MC. That is Khánh Huyền and Harry. So mm, both of them will lead you throughout this great journey. So now the time for us to start the meeting. So I would like to invite on the stage Harry. Let's start the meeting, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting meeting of our club. It's a joy to see so many and to so many faces here today. Um, like all we know, our gravel club is a safe environment for us to practice public speaking, um, debating, and the leadership skill. So here we learn not only how to speak confidently, but also how to think critically, listen carefully, and give some constructive feedback. Every meeting is our opportunity to grow, to improve ourselves, to challenge ourselves, and to inspire others. And tonight is no exception. This week, time is a endless discussion. Is electric car or a petrol car? Electric car is seen a future clean, sustainable, and innovative, but petrol car, on the other hand, have a long history of reliability, power, and convenience. Which one will dominate the road ahead? That's, that's exactly we are here to debate today. Two teams, two perspective, one exciting clash of ideas. Um, the debate session will be from 6:40 to 7:10 expected. And here's how our debate will run. We'll have two teams, the electric car team and the petrol car team. Each speaker will have 1 to 2 minutes to present their ideas and the arguments. After both teams, we'll move to evaluations and voting. Let's start with the electric car. Let's invite our first speaker, De Kian.
All right. So my speech I want to start my speech for electric car in one, two, and three. So so good evening everyone. I want to give to Manchester City where the air is clear, streets are quiet, and the car leaves no pollution behind. This is a world an electric car can help us build. Today, my team stands firmly for the notion that people should use electric cars. Firstly, is that transportation is one of the largest sources of greenhouse gases. Electric cars produce zero tailpipe emission, cutting air pollution that causes asthma and heart disease. They run on electricity, which can be generated from renewable sources like solar wind, meaning we can drive without burning a single joule of drum. They're easier to operate with far more fuel moving parts, which means lower repair bills. You can charge at home when you sleep, so every morning you start the day with a full tank. And with the government intensity and better battery, they're becoming more affordable and tactical for people every year. And do you know that countries in Norway, that is a country with everybody has Tesla? Yes, everybody has Tesla in Norway. Teslas are very good electric cars that is really good, and firstly they can drive very far on just a 2 minute charge. Secondly, that they is very cheap. They are affordable, cheap, and don't break down much. They can stand the cold up to minus 100 degrees. Well, what is it? I think so. This is debate not about cars. It's about our health, our climate, and our future. That is why I believe electric car is still great. Nextly, I also want to tell you that electric car can also be more efficient than fuel cars. Like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 more time efficient. Like 3 times 10 more efficient than a petrol car, which is really, really blank. By the way, though, many many countries have done that. Vietnam is now starting a rule to say next year every people will start using electric cars and motorcycle by being fast. So, in conclusion, I think that electric cars is still really the best. I want everybody to use something is new, not something old, not something clunky. What thing is best for ourselves is something new and great for the future. So I want to encourage everybody to stop using fuel cars and go for electric cars. Thank you for listening. I rest my case here.
Wow, such a full of energy speech. Thank you, Eric. And now let's move on to the second speaker, Amelia.
Okay, and my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so before we dive in, let me ask you this. When you picture the future of transportation, what do you see? Flying cars or self-driving buses, or maybe roads filled with vehicles that glide silently with no exhaust fumes and no smell of petrol? That's not science fiction anymore. It's already happening. And the start of this change is the electric car. So, what exactly is the electric car? Unlike petrol or diesel vehicles, electric cars are powered by motors that run on electricity stored in rechargeable batteries. You can plug them into the power grid at home, charge them at the public station, or even use renewable energy like solar and wind. It's a technology that is not only changing how we travel, but also reshaping our relationship with the environment. Firstly, let's talk about the environment. Traditional vehicles release carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and other harmful particles into the air every single day. These pollutants don't just warm the planet, they make the air harder to breathe, especially in busy cities. Electric cars produce zero tailpipe emissions. Imagine Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City with cleaner skies, fresher air, and fewer people suffering from respiratory problems. This isn't a dream, and fewer people. This isn't a dream. It's already happening in places like Norway or Oslo. Over the last decade, as electric cars became the majorities of new vehicle sales, air quality there has significantly improved. Fewer emissions mean healthier peoples and a healthier planet. And when the vehicles are charged using renewable sources, their environmental footprint drops even further, making them one of our strongest tools in fighting climate change. Secondly, efficiency and cost. Petrol engines are surprisingly wasteful. A huge part of the energy from fuel is lost at heat. Electric motors, on the other hand, convert most of their energy into motion. That means more power for less waste. And because electric cars have fewer moving parts, they require less maintenance, no oil changes or no exhaust repairs, and far fewer breakdowns. In China, several taxi companies switched their fleets to electric and reported saving thousands of dollars every year of fuel and repairs. Electric cars are not just about technology, they're about the kind of future we want to live in. A future with cleaner air, healthier cities, lower costs, and smarter transport. We've seen the proof in countries like Norway and China. The question is, do we wait for the future to arrive or do we drive it ourselves? Thank you.
Wow, this is such a uh full full fully prepared speech. I can see that you speak very fast, but you didn't kind of you speak really clearly, and yes, everyone hear you clearly. Yeah, thank you for your information and your speech. Now let's move to the
Okay, so Harry, let's invite the next speaker.
Okay, so now we will invite the next speaker, Khánh Huyền.
Okay, so one of the bigger arguments for electric cars is their potential. So I want to migrate the negative effects because you might think that petrol car is more important than electric car, right? But have you ever seen every year it causes pollution and climate change? Traditional cars run on fossil fuels, releasing huge amounts of carbon dioxide and harmful gases to damage our planet every single day. Electric cars, on the other hand, produce zero emissions when driven, which means cleaner air for our cities, healthier people, and a safer climate for next generations. If more people switch to electric cars, we could cut millions and millions of tons of greenhouse gases every year. Imagine how many forests we could save, how many children could breathe better in large cities, and how much closer we could be to stopping global climate. So, have you ever choosing about electric cars? It's just not just only about transportation. It's not just only a normal transportation, but it's about protecting life on Earth and taking real responsibility for the future. Secondly, well, speaking of which, electric cars are more than just vehicles. They represent human creativity and encourage to think differently. For more than a century, people to believe that gasoline cars are not the only way forward by innovators like Tesla, Nissan, and many others prove that clean, powerful, smart cars that could be built without oil. Electric cars are built with modern technology, self-driving systems, instant accelerations, quiet movements. So when you move around, have you ever seen the engines are not just only causing out of the sound, but their sound, the engines are really quiet, and the smart energy used can make them far superior to old cars. Supporting electric car means supporting progress and encouraging more inventions and opening the door to a future where technology make our lives better without destroying our planet. Before being on the side of electric cars shows that we're going to lead, not to stay behind in the past. And thirdly, I want to suggest to you that countries that depend too much on oil are always at risk. When fuel prices rise, have you ever thought about conflicts over resources? Have you ever thought about that electric cars can reduce this dependence because they are run on electricity, which can produce locally through renewable energy like wind, solar, or hydropower? This means nations can keep their money inside their own economy instead of spending billions importing oil. Yep, think about that. For families, the savings are also huge. For someone who doesn't have the opportunity to to spend on something that have really cost a lot of money. Every year, they have to be spending billions and millions of billions of millions to use it. No, because in the long run, electric cars are not just for better to the planet, but they are better for people's wallets for national independence. I hope that maybe people could change because so many people thought that petrol cars are still good than electric cars. I know it's a good cause. It's a good change too. But sometimes people don't they still deny about it and I think it's not good at all. Eventually, one day, if our world, maybe also not in the world, but in Vietnam, where there are changes, there could be change. So petrol car already turning to electric car, what will you do? There's nothing that you can do. You might think that children, the elderly, and those with weak immune systems suffer the most. Yeah, and the only reason who caused them, the problem that caused them to get sick and laying in bed in the hospital is just because of air pollution. When the elders got outside for a walk, they breathed in not only the fresh oxygen of the life, the outside world, but they're not just only a normal of that. Just not just only one people, but whole in Ho Chi Minh City. Nearly every elders have starting to have problem with their breathing because of air pollution. I know that sometimes it may have troubles for them, but you need to think for the elderly too. It's not just only about yourself, but it's about for others too. Children, the next generations, and more elderlies. They need to have the best of their life, not going and lying there and ready to be dying. I know that I'm just a girl who think that electric cars could be solved this problem, but sometimes when people like they smoking or they shoot out toxic gases. Imagine like if you one day a foreigner in other countries walking in a city with clean air, they think that Vietnam is a wonderful country, right? But when they just walk into the city full of air pollutions, dark air, and the gases just causing for really clear, really fresh, turn into a dark and really bad oxygen for them, and which causing them to think that Vietnam is not a clean and a fresh country. It's a really terrible country. So I hope that maybe in the world, not just only like I know that people might thinking that it's not for them to live through all the petrol vehicles. But I know that someday you are facing all these problems too. So I hope think for children and for you too. And mostly the elders. They need time. So they need to walk out to the real world where the air is fresh. The oxygen is really good and they are not bad. And I just wish they could have a better life more than that. And that's all for my debate.
Thank you, Khánh Huyền, for such a wonderful speech.
Okay, so excuse me, Harry. I'm sorry for interrupt you because I would love to announce to all of you some change in our agenda today. So in the next section, we have evaluation section. So the coach for the first team could be Tu Hian. Tu Hian could be the coach, the evaluators of the first team, electric car. And the next coach could be Khánh Huyền. Khánh Huyền, can be the coach for the next team for the petrol car. Is that okay? Khánh Huyền could be the coach, and Harry will keep going to be the MC for the whole meeting. Okay, Khánh Huyền? All right. So next team, you guys will be evaluated by Khánh Huyền, and the next team, let's get ready. And all right. So hey, before you guys,
Excuse me.
yes.
This is not the actual VCE debating process. We like when I first say it, when I first speak, that there must then it's actually not speaker two of my team to speak. Like it goes in pardon speaker one of team from that speaker two, speaker one of team negative, then speaker two of the team from the team speaker two of team negative.
Right. Okay, that's you right. Sorry, we have some mistake in the format. So yeah, maybe next meeting you could change a little bit. So in the next section, in this section, I understand that. Thank you, Eric, for reminding. Today the format is a little bit different, but it's okay. We change a little bit. Next meeting we'll change again. Thank you, Eric, for reminding. Now let's move to the second round, the second team. That is a petrol car. So remember, all you guys will be evaluated by the coach Khánh Huyền, and Harry will keep going to be the MC for the whole meeting. Okay, so Harry, let's keep going the show, please.
Okay, so now let me invite the next team is the petrol car team. And for the first speaker, let me invite Tu Hian, right? Yeah.
I'm the last speaker actually. I'm the last speaker. Cindy is the first and Selena is the second. I'm the last.
Okay, so my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable chair and respected judges, as the first speaker of petrol car side, I'm here to establish list why is the petrol car or without questions the surprise of the choice ever electric car in the real world. Our team of burdens is a simple and describes we must prove that petrol car remains more practical, reliable, and accessible than electric car. If we are success in showing this, then the motion falls. Let me also prioritize our models. Petrol cars are beheaded powered by glass on or diesel is using extensive Examples global is feelings in structures and the electric car or vehicles or vehicle is powered by batteries and requires trainings about the stations and electric grids, and we are going to learnings about which system is work the best for a real of people today and responsible for the future. First, bring us to the farming. Bring us to the farming. It is the core. The question is not the dream of the perfect emissions of free future. The core question is what the feasibles of nations is about sustainable and society right now that we use our car based on formally accessibility, reliability, and the honest of environment impact, not of the promise that is not due of the match reality. Let me present to the two of reverables of arguments. First, affordability and access of the suitability. It is just like petrol cars are dramatic of the cheaper to purchase and mentions that electric car often cost double or more, and replacing a battery can run into the thousands of dollars. In most countries, electric cars remain the luxury and items for the few, while petrol cars are available to the minorities if their souls cannot reserve of the message, it cannot be considered more better. Second, infactful is visibility about the petrol car can be refueled anywhere in a minute. Electric cars is really on slow cars and infinity of the disturbance in change stations. On the long trip in the urgencies, is the electric car is creates about the stress, delays, and unintentionally. Petrol cars work everywhere and every time. When they are prevent about dependent stables about while the electric car remain about limited by about technology and the infectors. Now these matters about proposing of the strongest claim it is that electric cars are better for the environment. That this is the misleading and every electric car's battery is required in the senses of meaning of lithium or cobalt and other rare earth metals. This is process about the debates of the cost times was generate about massive and emissions, and in some case in explorers students is developing about countries. Electric car is only of the ships. Its populations are from tail-purpose to factories and mine. At petrol cars is by contrast have or transparent about and maintenance of environment impacts. there is no harm. So when you are involved in the debate on the real world impact, is essentially responsibility is and true environment is called a petrol car is a multiple of the superior they are service of people today in every country under every circumstance is electric car is promised not for is promised not solutions. For these reasons, we are strongly affirm the superiors of virtual car. That's all about my speech. Thank you for listening.
Wow, thank you, Cindy, for such a speak. And now let's move on to the next speaker. Let me invite Selena onto the stage.
Okay, so my speech will start in three, two, one. Honorable Chair, respected judges, as the second speaker for the petrol car side, I will extend our strongest arguments, introduce a new one, rebut the proposition's key claims, and show why our side clearly deserves to win this debate. First, let me extend our strongest points: infrastructure and reliability. My first speaker explained that petrol cars can be refueled anywhere within minutes, while electric cars depend on slow and scarce charging stations. To expand on this, consider emergencies or long distance travel. Petrol cars allow people to drive without hesitation. They work in rural areas, in countries with weak electricity grids, and even during natural disasters. Electric Electric cars, by contrast, risk stranding people without power or access to charging. Reliability is not a convenience; it is a necessity. Petrol cars have proven this across the globe for decades. Now let me introduce a new arguments: economic impact and maintenance. Petrol cars are cheaper to repair and maintain. Parts are widely available, and mechanics are trained to handle them everywhere. Electric cars, however, require specialized service, and expensive replacement batteries and software repairs. For ordinary families, this adds enormous hidden costs. A car is not just about buying it. It is about owning it for years. Petrol cars give security, predictability, and real affordability. Electric cars often promise savings but deliver uncertainty. Next, I will rebut one of the proposition's strongest claims that electric cars reduce pollution and save the environment. While it is true that electric cars produce no tailpipe emissions, this is misleading. Most electricity still comes from coal, gas, and other polluting sources. Worse, producing the batteries requires destructive mining of lithium, cobalt, and rare earth metals. These processes destroy ecosystems, reduce carbon emissions, and sometimes exploit labor in developing countries. The so-called green advantage of electric cars exists mostly on paper. Petrol cars may emit while driving, but their er- environmental costs are transparent, manageable, and already integrated into global systems. Finally, let us win the debate. We have shown three critical points: accessibility and affordability, infrastructure and reliability, and economic and maintenance practicability fact, this directly impacts the majority of people today. The proposition offers a vision of cleaner future, but their arguments rely on assumptions, limited infrastructure, and hidden costs. In comparison, our side provides real, practical solutions for the world as it is now. In conclusion, petrol cars remain the superior choice. They are affordable, reliable, and widely maintainable, and practically indispensable for society today. The proposition promises a future that is not yet achievable. On every measurable level: practicability, accessibility, economy, and real-world reliability, our team's case stands unshakable. For these reasons, we deserve to win this debate.
Thank you, Selena, for such a speak. But I recommend you to speak more slowly. Also, Amelia, don't just speak too fast. Thank you. And now let's move on to our third speaker. Let me invite Tu Hiền.
Okay, my speech will be starting in 3, 2, 1. Honorable Chair, respected judges, as the third speaker of the patriarchal side, I will bring this debate to a close by summarizing our case, addressing the other side's points and showing you why our team should win this debate. First, let's clarify what this debate is really about. It is not about ideals, promises, or distant visions of a perfect future. This debate is about which type of car that serves people's needs today and is a foreseeable future. It is practicable. It is practicality, accessibility, reliability, and real-world impact. If a car fails in these areas, it cannot be considered the better choice, no matter how appealing its promises sound. Now, let's summarize our case. Our team has proven that petrol cars are the superior choice because they are affordable, accessible, and reliable. Petrol cars are available to the majority of people, unlike electric cars, which remain expensive and largely inaccessible. Petrol cars can be refueled anywhere in minutes, while electric cars rely on scarce, slow charging stations. We also highlighted the economy practically, repairs are affordable, parts are widely available, and mechanics are trained to service them everywhere. Petrol cars can work for real people in real situations right now. Let's address a point from the other side. The proposition will argue that electric cars reduce tailpipe emissions. We agree with one small part. Yes, electric cars produce no exhaust emissions while driving, but this benefit is extremely limited. Most electricity still comes from polluting sources, and battery production requires destructive mining of lithium, cobalt, and rare earth metals, causing massive emission, ecosystem destruction, and even labor exploitation. Electric cars simply shift the environmental burden from roads to factories and mines. This minor benefit cannot outweigh the practical and economic disadvantages of electric cars. Now, let's be clear on the point we totally reject. The position may claim electric cars are the solution to the future. This is misleading. Without widespread infrastructure, affordable prices, and durable batteries, electric cars remain impractical for the majority of people, especially in developing countries, rural areas, and emergencies. Promises of the future do not make an effective solution for today. Finally, let's weigh the debate. Our deliveries, real, tangible benefits for people now, accessibility, affordability, reliability, and economic practicality. The answer offers screens dependent technology that doesn't yet exist and carries hidden environmental social costs. On every measure that matters, hydro cars clearly win. In conclusion, GR, this debate is about practical solutions for real people today, not idealistic visions. Petrol cars meet this standard. They are reliable, accessible, and economically practical. Electric cars do not. For these reasons, we strongly urge you to go for the petrol car side and recognize the reality of what truly works in our world today. I rest my case, but never my stance. Thank you.
Thank you, Tu Hiền, for such a wonderful speech. Now, let's move on to the
Excuse me,
evaluate.
let's hold on a minute because I would really like to take a picture of three speakers of negative. Can I? Because of very impressive sections from a few guys. So can I take a pictures of both of three of you, please? Yeah, so Cindy, Selena, and Tuhian, can you on the screen and can you smile? You look really bright today. I'm so surprised when listening to you. I cannot imagine you are in the age of primary school. You are so active and like I say extraordinary. Okay, so let's show all of you your spirit on screen. Okay, Thuhian, can you put the screen down a little bit? Can I see you? Uh, yes, that's right. And Cindy, can I show you more clearly? Right. Yes, it's better. And Selena also. Okay, so I will count from 3, 2, 1. Can you put the heart on screen and can you smile together? Okay. Right. Okay. Now let's smile. And 3, 2, 1. Heart and smile. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Wow, very impressive. Thank you so much, all the speakers from negative team, or I would say from other side of the debate. Not negative, actually, we don't have negative or positive, but here we are talk about petrol car and electric, right? So it's a little bit different, but I hope that you enjoy the section today. I put all you guys into team because I would love you guys will be evaluated. All three of you will be evaluated at a team. Okay, so you all of you will be evaluated by Khang Huyên today. Now, once again, thank you so much, Cindy, Tu Hiền, and Selena for great performance today. Now, I back the stage to Harry.
Thank you, Miss Lee. And now let's move on to the next section. Is the evaluation session. Now let me invite the first evaluator is Tu Hiền. Tu Hiền will evaluate for the electric car team.
Okay, so thank you. Okay, first and foremost, I will say that you did a really impressive job. Each of you got strong conclusions, strong opening, and your points are absolutely outstanding. But here are my personal feedback for each of you. So first, so it's Eric. So strength. So I thought you get strong framing, which you said. Imagine this: in the debating round, when you started your debate with a framing, it's actually captured the audience's attention and also the cheer. Your speech was full of passion, which challenged the negative assumption on this debate. However, here's all my suggestion. As the first speakers, I would like to tell me what is the definition of the main keywords. What does it mean for the electric cars and what does petrol cars mean? Not only that, I want you to prove at almost at the end of the conclusion, I want you to weigh this debate. You said that our team should take the full weight of this debate because we have provided more evidence, more constructive arguments, and also more framing to the other side. However, I also want you to add more your boardings and also your team models. I don't actually notice what is our team model actually, and what is our team boarding in this truly debate round. So next is Amelia. I must say Amelia did an extraordinary speech. Her conclusion and her opening are over the board. Her speech was full of great arguments, and not only that, she was able to ground this debate. I understand she was the main point of their team. She has been grounded for the team's case and also provided more arguments that help their teams from being destroyed by the negative team. But here are her improvements. As always, Amelia, I want you to prove by also adding more framing. In your debate speech was lacking clarity and also framing. When you don't add frame in the debate, it lacks of many more. And also, I want you to actually rebut. Your rebuttals are your rebuttals are lack in your speech. Even if you don't hear the first speakers of the negative team speak, I want you to add rebuttals. Think of a rebuttal and then add them there. And then Penguin. So here are the strengths. Your opening was full of ideas, mystic. It was so attractive and also grabbed the audience's attention, also the cheer on the panel too. And your arguments are quite strong. Your summarization for the team's case, which have your teams ready for this debate round. However, I want you to know this. I want you to add rebuttals to your speech. What is your rebut to the opposition team? If you don't rebut the opposition team, you are agreeing to their points of views. And also, I want you to add to more attention. I want you to tell me. I want you to add more evidence, examples for the first speakers, the second speakers. So your debate, your teams stand firmly agree. And also, I don't really see you do more waving actually. Waving is me like my world versus their world. You will tell me what did your world presented and why did your world are better than the opposition world. That's called waving. And when you do of these elements as a third speaker, I will highly know that you will do even a more extraordinary job in the next debate round. That is all. Thank you.
Okay, Thank you, To Hian, the evaluate for your evaluate. Now let's move on to the next evaluator is Khánh Huyên. Khánh Huyên will evaluate for the petrol car team.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to acknowledge the Petra team for presenting their arguments with confidence and effort. I see that the three of them has put in a lot of great efforts to their arguments. However, well, as I carefully listened to each of your speech and I have analyzed what you all have said, it becomes clear that many of your points are right, but actually I determine is like I see that your own points are not as really convincing. First of all, when I will say that maybe the first speaker I think is Cindy, right? So I think that she did really great and she put a lot of great efforts into it. But like you have like do a lot of things, like you have emphasize the confidence and the ability of yourself, the own voice of yourself. But not of all, like you speak is like when you're debating, you need to argument, speak strong, pointing out the main action, the main idea. Just like Tuhian and Selena have pointing out their own ideas. So their arguments, they have speak with real confidence, real effort. So I want to say that Cindy, you is the first time I've seen you here in Nora Kids Gavel Club. But I've seen that you did a great job. But I think that one of the biggest weakness in your arguments is the failure to acknowledge your own voice. Because when you speak, you need to speak. For example, you need to speak loudly and clearly. Because like when you speak your speech of yours, I can see that you talk, it's not too clear, but actually everybody still hear you fine. But I want you to show that energy of yours, because this is debating, not normal speaking, right? So we need to point out what is the main point of yours. If you speak about petrol cars, you need to point out that what is petrol cars and how important it is. You need to argue that petrol is easy to access and currently cheaper in some areas. I like a sound of that, right? But at what you say today is like you trying to point the main action of petrol cars, and it's kind of really good. Secondly is Selena. Selena, well, I see it as you actually have really perfect and you don't have a lot of weakness at all. But I do see that maybe you can define what is your own. Like if you can if you can speak like really energetic, everyone see that you are actually, even though if you're not competing in a competition or not, you when you speak loudly and really like show off your energy, everybody could know that you are actually the champion of today. Even though if you don't enter a competition or not, you just a normie, but you actually pointing out the what is really important during your argument. And to him, all the time, I see that you could defending petrol cars and you're essentially supporting a system that keeps a tie to something that's running out and become more unstable, right? And I see a lot of people might see that three of these did really great. And no matter like maybe Cindy and Selena, I think it's the first time they're joining this club, but I see that they actually have prepared really, really well for this argument. No matter what, you also have highlighted the power and the voice of yours is still perfectly fine. But I just want to give you some excellent feedback so you can change it no matter what. But if maybe in the future, I hope that if you could enter this for the next time, I hope that if there will be more opportunity and chances for you, I think you should enter because I've pointed out that your arguments it did really great, but you need to control which is your energy, where is it, and you need to find out your own voice first because if you debating like Cindy, when you're debating, you need to speak out what is real, what is not. And I can see that three of you did absolutely great, no matter what. So keep on and keep doing all the hard work. And that's all for my feedback for three of you two. Okay, so back to you, Gabriel of the day.
Thank you, Penguin, for such a precious evaluate. And let me invite Eric for the evaluation for this whole meeting.
Okay, sorry. So okay, to say for my team first. Well, my team is the strength of my team is very good and they can speak well and also they speak many. But my weaknesses of my team is that sometimes they usually stop or sometimes they even look at papers, which is some kind of like not in the rule of NVCE debating. And also they are also really bad at using sign languages. Like I don't use sign languages much. And yes, the second speaker of my team do use a lot of them, but just use like that, but not just more emotional things. And next finally is the first speaker of my team. You speak a bit too slow, by way though. Now let me turn to the negative team. The negative team, they just speak too fast, and next thing they don't set the background. Like I understand then the background for them, but they still don't set in the background. And I think, yeah, sure, not a rule, but I totally want it. But the good thing about them is that they speak a lot of facts and most of them is really good with. If you can't change yours, then oh man, it's stuck. All right. If it's stuck, then and yeah, and it might be stuck, but later try using another device. If you can use another device you can. And nextly is some of you speak too fast, some of you speak too slow, and most of you I can't even hear. But the second speaker of the negative team said that electric is made from fuel. Wrong. It's 100% wrong. It's probably illegal in Vietnam to make electric from fuel. It's actually really illegal, like super illegal to make fuel from fuel fuel to electricity. By the way, though, if is any of them, people are actually quitting it because firstly, fuel is running out, so you can't just depend on fuel to make electricity. And secondly, EVs actually know how to do it. Like know how to even if the fuel turns to electricity, the EV's car can easily be broken down because of the use of electricity, not electricity fuel. But the good thing about you is that you speak with many facts in it and you can rebut. Also, y'all point are very strong, and you have very sharp ears. Like you can have very sharp ears. Nice. So, in conclusion, for both teams, I think both teams speak a bit too fast, but they're very good. They're very intelligent. And they can use some sign language. And the best thing about all of them is that they are all happy. So, so thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Eric, for energy and confidence. Evaluate. And thank you all of our participants for your speech, your evaluation.
Okay, so thank you, Harry, for the leading of the whole section today. And once again, thank you everyone for the try. So it's now for us to the announcement result of the two teams. I strongly believe that today all equips you guys in each team really try your best, take great effort. I have to say, go beyond of your effort to share your opinion today. Really appreciate all of your trying and your appearance today. So I'm very happy to see you shine on the stage and always make me so surprised. And now before I move to the final result, I also would love to listen from you guys. So in your opinion, which team is better? Can you give me in a chat box? Like just send the chat box to me. All right, send the chat box to me. You think it's the first team for electrics or second team as petrol? Give me your opinion. I would love to listen from your opinion. Or you don't know. Okay. So actually, the surprise is I will let you know about the result. Actually, after the meeting today, maybe tomorrow, because actually I need to send this video and the job performance of each of you guys to some of the experts, and they will decide. Actually, they will decide the ranking of each speaker. Also, maybe if they can, they give you some feedback also. So therefore, the result will be announced tomorrow. Okay, so let's wait for tomorrow. I will send you the results soon. Okay, everyone. Let's wait. But in general today, you guys make great job and yes, on Zalo, right? You guys make great job today. Today's debate section is a little bit different, but I hope you enjoy the difference. In the next meeting, we will change the section, to change the format. Okay, so I think it's just for today. You tried your best and you also receive some feedback from experienced member. Once again, thank you so much for everyone for joining today. I hope you enjoy the meeting. We learn something from each other and see you guys in the next section on Nora Kids Gavel Club. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. See you guys and let's wait for tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. See you later. Bye bye, everyone. Yes. Bye bye.
Bye bye
Bye.
bye.